are on India Today podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room. Akshay, क्या करे? False start. Opener से मिलता है ना false starts. We come to an opener.
KL Rahul fan Akshay Ramesh.
We come to your favorite opener of 2022, but we are here to come and wrap this year. The final episode of the Sledging Room 2022. We of course intend to go bigger, wider and more controversial in 2023. We hope to keep this momentum, but talking of momentum, Saurabh, Akshay, I know Akshay's momentum.
Yeah, we all know.
His momentum is a straight line. Suddenly,
he takes a U-turn.
He's
known for those U-turns.
Yeah.
Because
Akshay
when you
U-turn
go
Ramesh.
with facts, when you go with facts,
Which you don't go with.
sometimes people let you down.
Okay.
Sometimes
No,
the
since
betting,
you-
the predictions that you
What?
do, the predictions that you do, the bets that you place on people, the faith that you show in people,
I know.
But if for people like you,
Why are you so heartbroken?
for people like Rajeshri and Saurabh, who have an agenda,
No.
always
There is
agenda.
My
No agenda.
agenda is only to discuss Indian cricket, sports in general, and ask the right questions. That's my only agenda.
Yeah.
My agenda is...
We talk about the betterment of the game.
You know why today Rajeshri is very happy?
Why?
Because all through the year he has been speaking about weather and Virat Kohli. Today on the menu there is weather and there is
No,
Virat
I can't help that. The Delhi menu, the Delhi weather is
He
anyway
does
the
not
topic of
control it,
discussion.
right?
What
And some Virat
did
Kohli
we wake up
bashing
to
as well.
5 degrees Celsius on a Monday morning? Did you feel like coming to the office, honestly?
Yeah, of course. Monday morning, why will I miss off?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Akshay, come on now.
No, it was one of those mornings. For a fraction of a second, I thought, it'd be nice to just tuck in, get a nice cup of coffee, enjoy the view from the balcony. But the viewing on Sunday, before the week started, wasn't very good, especially if you're an Indian cricket fan in Mirpur. India eventually ended up winning that test match. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the crazy IPL auctions that went down in Kochi. Some crazy numbers, Saurabh. But, I know we've discussed this throughout the year. We've asked questions of cricketers, specifically Virat Kohli, KL
Targeted
Rahul,
a few.
Rohit Sharma. This is not targeting. I mean, depends on your
Pointing out
orientation.
the two things which are
It
happening.
depends on your orientation.
Yeah.
It's not targeting.
No,
it's
it's
asking
not-
the
it's
right
not-
questions.
yeah.
Because most people do not ask the right questions.
And Akshay wants us to just keep on praising his favorite hitters.
If you think this is
Let me
targeting,
put
then you
this
should
question.
go and
Let me-
sit
let-
at a
let me
studio.
put this,
where-
if the viewers had looked at the equation in this podcast now over the last few weeks when we three were there, you always give nice intros to Saurabh because he sides by your.
It is not about
views.
siding.
He
No.
doesn't. Both of you have agenda-driven.
What is the
you know-
agenda?
you know-
Okay. No, his okay, fine. Agenda driven, right? Okay. So, what we're going to do is ask some questions of KL Rahul.
Yeah.
Defend him.
Yeah.
As a test opener, defend him as a T20 opener. Go on. The floor is yours.
So no one.
Since I have
Yes,
an agenda.
yes. We all have
When
an
KL
We both have
Rahul
an
was
agenda.
coming
Yeah.
back from an injury at the Asia
Arey,
Cup, I
forget
said,
what.
give him time.
This is December. We're
But
going to
time
say
is over.
we're going to you're
Time
going
is
to
over
you're
for
going to
him.
raise a toast on the 31st of December. Few days from
So
now,
now you are
you've
taking
gone back to the
U-turn.
Asia Cup. Talk about
Is this a U-turn?
talk
If
about the
someone
now.
doesn't
Talk
perform-
about the present.
Okay,
What agenda?
if you buy a new phone, Saurabh, okay, if it doesn't meet your expectations, what will you do?
I will keep
You know
on
what?
using it.
Once
You'll keep
an
on using
examiner,
it.
Yeah, that
once
is what
an
I can do.
examiner, what were those exams? Vivas. Those one of those examiners
Practical exam.
had once told me, that when you don't have substance, you come up with such metaphors and such ridiculous examples. You're talking of KL Rahul, a proven international cricketer. You're drawing metaphors with a mobile phone. That means you don't have substance to back him up.
That is where I'm coming. See,
Agenda?
during the Asia Cup, I said he deserves time. But as a test opener, consistent failures
No.
in the
You
last
said
few tests.
Why just Test cricket? Why don't you also go back to the T20 format? Since it was
Since
you
the
who
time
brought up
he
Asia
came
Cup.
back- Since the time he came back from the injury, before that, what was his record? He scored pretty well in South
Where?
Africa. He scored 100
scored
in
well in
England
South
last year.
Africa?
He scored 100
Did he
in
really
England
score in
last
South
year.
Africa?
Last year, 2021, August
That-
में था वो.
after that, how many tests have
That
he
was
played?
so.
That is when.
Wait.
That is why I said when he came back in the Asia Cup
Akshay,
in
this is an
August,
Indian team where a man of the match is dropped for the next test, where Karun Nair did not play many more test matches after scoring a triple 100, where Manoj Tiwari once had scored 100 in ODI, didn't come back to play soon after. Same with Manish Pandey. So please don't talk about how many test matches they played.
That is
Those
exactly,
opportunities should be scarce in that case.
I am not here to defend KL Rahul. to make both of your points valid,
No,
guys
you
are
were
making me
defending
look
KL
like
Rahul. You were defending
I
KL Rahul
was
before
defending KL
before he
Rahul.
walked into the studio.
Yes,
He said, "I can't." But
Yeah.
you said, "I can't."
I
I mean, I
was
don't want to.
defending- so-
And that's when I said that. Look, if you do not defend him now, my first question will be, then why did you defend him throughout the year? And why is this U-turn? And you had your head down on
because
the
his
desk.
performances have
He
been
did
bad.
this.
Back then also, I don't think he was performing very well. So why did you back him?
No, but it is not about Akshay. Don't feel
It's
bad.
about KL Rahul.
Yeah,
It's
we're
about
talking
KL
about
Rahul.
KL Rahul.
Last
It is-
episode, you were about to walk off the podcast.
I
I
ne-
might do it if you both continue.
I never
this.
did that. Come on, Akshay.
No, at least he's admitted he wants to walk off. Please do.
You
We'll
pin the
focus on
blame
the
on
empty chair. This is true. I mean, no. Why just scale Rahul? By the way, okay, we've tarnished Akshay's reputation.
But one thing.
But-
But one thing. Why do you want to have cricketers who are not in form in such important positions? When you gave
Because-
Pujara the vice captaincy, was it an informed decision? What if Pujara hadn't?
It was
scored
also
those
probably a forced decision because KL Rahul was captaining. He captained India when Virat did not
But
play.
someone like Rishabh Pant who has played so well, who has dominated the test format for so well,
You don't
why
trust.
wouldn't you
I
give
don't
the-
think the team management trusts Rishabh Pant across formats. KL Rahul, I don't know what he's done to earn that trust.
So you
frankly.
can't drop a captain. You can't drop.
No,
a vice
because
captain. That's how you've been doing.
your captain is not fit enough
Exactly.
to play regularly.
Yes.
He's injured more often than not. Your vice captain is a fast bowler, probable vice captain, somebody who could have probably taken over the mantle of leadership in this team, has been injured for the better part of 2022. After Virat Kohli, Saurabh, there seems to be an acute vacuum in that leadership position. And Rahul Dravid as coach, I'm sorry, he has done nothing. He has done nothing. Look
Exactly.
at that coaching setup. Ravi Shastri, Bharat Arun, R. Sridhar, Virat Kohli. That was a formidable leadership unit.
Yes.
At least there was a formidable leadership unit. Rahul Dravid looks lost. KL Rahul looks lost. Virat Kohli suddenly takes up captaincy duties.
That was absolutely shocking.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And it's not just about KL Rahul. It's about the entire setup that is creating a ruckus. Kuldeep Yadav dropped. The stand-in captain then comes and says it was a difficult decision. It was a stupid decision, for God's sake. How can he just justify that, and how can he come up with such explanations?
Exactly. Questions
Exactly.
have to be
This
asked
this
about-
team management looks absolutely lost.
Yeah.
And it's not just about Rahul Dravid. If you see, at times you will see Rahul Dravid is our head coach, then he takes rest, then US Lakshman comes over and takes over. We have different captains, different coaches. What is going on? There was a time, people talk about Bazball, Brandon McCullum, Ben Stokes. There was an era, not much long ago, I think 1 year ago only, we had Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri at the helm of affairs in Indian Test cricket, and we were ruling. We were winning everywhere. And now look what happens. Against Bangladesh, you just managed to win a test match. You should be thankful to Ashwin. By the way, Ashwin has scored more runs in this year than Virat Kohli. You should be thankful to Ashwin and Shreyas Iyer, the best player of spin bowling in India, that you won a test match, the second test match. Otherwise, you were losing that and your chance to play the World Test Championship final, which is not, Abhi, that is not assured, because now you have to beat Australia, who are beating everyone, by the way.
And even if you play the World Test Championship,
And-
what does that signify?
No,
You
I'm
don't- you
saying
haven't
it's a
you
good
haven't have
point. It's a
track
good
record.
point because that's exactly what I was thinking. Even if you win the World Test Championship,
Yes.
right? You have to understand that this is perhaps an Indian Test era in decline,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
You are looking at possibly playing a back-to-back World Test Championship finals. You might even defeat Australia in the final. Who knows? I think India will win against Australia. You can't afford to lose more than one test match. Even if you drop one, win 2 or 3 others, you're safely through to the final because the other teams are struggling. South Africa clearly struggling in Australia. I don't think they're going to go through. It's most likely Australia versus
final,
India in this World Test Championship. But that is not just the point, right? Because now if you ask this Indian team, they'll be like, ICC events don't matter. Winning tournaments don't matter. It's about processes. What on earth is wrong with your processes in this?
You didn't qualify for the. I still remember that comment from Rahul Dravid.
Yeah.
You didn't qualify for the final of the Asia Cup.
Yeah.
And Rahul Dravid comes out in the press conference and says, we missed an opportunity to play one extra pressure match.
Yeah.
And that is how you're going to look at
Exactly.
major tournaments.
So now, even if you get to the World Test Championship final, then you go to, ask them the same set of questions.
And I don't think we'll be able to do anything to this Australian team in English conditions with this bowling.
It's difficult. Again, I'm saying that's a few months down the line.
Yeah.
But my point is simple. It's
by what has happened in the last 12 months,
yeah.
I don't see this Indian team.
It's a little more macro than that because you are looking at a couple of batters in decline.
Yeah.
Look, you go back to the Tendulkar, Dravid, Lakshman, Ganguly era. They retired. you thought there'd be a vacuum, but then in came Pujara, in came Rahane in 2013, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma was thereabouts, but you had Shikhar Dhawan, MS Dhoni was still marshalling the troop. You go back to 2008, when there was a captaincy vacuum, MS Dhoni took over like a charm. In the post-Dhoni era, Virat Kohli was already there. He was already settling in as a leader. He had a vision. So we knew that even with Dhoni gone, there was a man with a set with a set bunch of plans. What is your vision now? Where do you see this test team headed? Right?
Can I ask you a simple question? Is this Rohit Sharma, Rahul Dravid combination the biggest failure in Indian cricket?
I would say so, yes. It's been over a year. It's looked like badly made khichdi. It's a tasteless broth. It's a tasteless.
With a bit of good spices from the
no
selection
spices.
committee and all
I'm
that.
sorry, there are no spices.
The khichdi ke liye selection committee's part is also there, right?
That's again just completely all over the place.
Yeah.
Look at R. Ashwin, India's biggest match winner in Test cricket over the last decade. You have Shubman Gill. I'm sure he will now have to make way for KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma when they're back home.
Yeah.
Right? Shreyas Iyer, now I know what some critics will say. Oh, but Shreyas Iyer's performances overseas, we'll have to look at his numbers when he plays more test matches overseas. Boss, even Pujara did not start immediately playing well overseas. Rahane was a different case.
Yeah.
He would do better overseas than at home.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli took some time. But remember 2014 when he came back from that England tour, he was in shambles. He went to such
That James Anderson era.
Yeah, the Tendulkar era. The great batter called Tendulkar, he went back to him and picked up some tricks of the trade and he transformed himself in Australia. So this is where my concern is. Do you see that vision? I don't care what's happening right now.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens with the World Test Championship final, but what I care about is the way this team is getting fragmented. Rohit not playing enough. Suddenly, you have Shubman Gill doing well in ODIs as well as tests. When your captain, who's clearly unfit, comes back, suddenly Shubman Gill gets the boot. KL Rahul. Why is KL Rahul got that rope anyway?
Yes. And why is it that KL Rahul has not been dropped? Why can't he be dropped?
See,
and why has he got that captainship?
He did well last year. Okay. To give him a long rope is not bad actually. But
How
to
long?
give him this responsibility of captain and vice captain
Is
that
also
is
ridiculous.
something
Because that is what I'm saying.
ridiculous.
Either it's informed or it's forced.
Yes.
By the way, you could drop Pujara for his strike rate issues.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
In Test cricket many years back, he comes back and
you can drop
he-
Karuna Iyer after
he scored a triple 100.
Yep.
You could drop Rahane for a string of low scores. You could
can
drop
bench
Pujara
Ashwin.
again, and it was fine.
You
It
can
was
bench
you could
Ashwin
bench
throughout the
Ashwin.
Test series.
You're,
That England
you're
Test series.
benching one of history's greatest wicket takers. Questions have been asked of KL Rahul. Why aren't questions being asked of Virat Kohli? Virat Kohli gets out. He is looking extremely ordinary.
Yeah.
Again, I know you. A lot of you've said, "Oh, he scored 100 against Afghanistan. He scored 100 against Bangladesh." I'm sorry, those hundreds don't count. That 100 against Bangladesh came at the back of Ishan Kishan's brutal onslaught. So that doesn't count for me. What counts is the way he has gone ahead and played.
Yeah.
He is a shadow of his former self. Look at the way that pressure is telling on him.
Yes.
Why aren't questions being asked on
yes.
him? If you could drop Pujara and Rahane, why isn't somebody saying that, Virat Kohli doesn't score runs in this series against Australia? Drop him.
Absolutely. Virat Kohli scored
I
just
think the
one.
Australia series might prove to be make or break for a
I
couple
don't
of
think that will happen.
I don't think
that will
for
happen.
Virat Kohli.
for a couple of players.
I think
Will it
that
happen
can,
for
that can
Virat
happen for KL Rahul, but not for Virat Kohli. I
Why
don't
should
think-
it not happen for Virat Kohli? is the
It should
question.
happen. It should happen for Virat Kohli also because in this year he scored just one Test 50, and he has gone like 10 Test innings without scoring
And
a
like
50.
you said, R. Ashwin has scored more than
Yes,
Virat.
and this is his worst run. Comparing him with that 2014 run that he has gone without scoring a Test 50 in 10 innings. And look at what he did in the last Test match. He gets out in a very tough situation, and then he goes in and fights with those players.
That's
Why?
ridiculous. That was such an ungainly sight.
Yes.
Why?
Your
This
job is to
Bangladesh.
score runs.
You made Bangladesh look
Yes.
like Australia for 2.5 sessions.
You are fighting with Taizul Islam. Come on, Virat Kohli. You are Virat Kohli.
No, he's done that in the past. He's fought with Taskin Ahmed also. I mean,
He fought with Ishan Kishan in
Yeah.
IPL. So he can do anything. He fought with Gautam Gambhir.
no, but I get
But
it.
then he was scoring runs.
I get
No,
it,
he's not
but
even scoring runs.
No, but also I get it when
okay,
you want
it's
to
heat
give
of the
Virat
moment
Kohli a
and all
longer
that,
rope
yeah.
than other players. Agreed. But he's got a very long rope. The question is, since 2019, towards the end of 2019, he's got an extended rope for 3 years.
Yes.
And
In those
are
3
you
years,
looking long term? Are you going to persist with Rohit Sharma as a test opener?
No, you
He's
cannot.
missing
You
half the
cannot.
overseas
You
series.
cannot.
Yes.
You have to. Now there are two ways of looking at it. There is word that Hardik Pandya might be India's white ball formats captain.
Yeah.
T20 for sure. He's almost, we know.
T20, I think
He is almost
he has been informed that
certain.
he is going to take the lead into the upcoming T20
We don't
World
know
Cup.
what's gonna
That's
happen.
how he spoke also.
But
when he
if
led
the
in New
selectors
Zealand.
decide to get a new captain ahead of the World Cup, well, we'll have to see, wait and watch where that goes. But my point is, why are you necessarily looking at Rohit Sharma in Test cricket when he's clearly not interested?
Yes.
Or fit enough. I mean, I don't want to be too sweeping with that, but he's clearly not fit enough.
And with Rohit Sharma, with a 50-over World Cup coming in at your home grounds,
Exactly.
he should be focusing more on, he should give up on Test captaincy, take up that ODI captaincy only, and focus on ODI team
But
only.
12 months ago, the former BCCI president and the former selection committee said we can't have two white ball captains.
Then why is Virat?
Is that not why Virat Kohli was
Yes.
sacked as ODI
Yes,
captain?
yes, it
And
was
now
why.
you're looking at two different white ball captains.
But then he has been resting and missing a lot of Test
Exactly.
series and ODI series also, by the
he
way.
has not turned up for one important series, if I'm not wrong.
It's insane the way things are going. With
So
this.
Rohit Sharma played the T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
He misses out on playing that New Zealand series. He comes back and plays that Bangladesh series. In the second ODI, I think he gets injured.
Yeah.
His thumb, he goes. And then he has not been available since then.
And
I
we
think
are not sure if
he will be available for the Australia series also. Sri Lanka series, by the way, which is coming first.
No, I mean, again with the IPL just a few months down the line, we'll have to see how many of these cricketers are going to be available. Like Sunil Gavaskar keeps saying, you only need to manage your workload for
Bumrah,
India matches.
Over the last 1 or 2 years, Bumrah has
Do
been
you back
coming-
Bumrah to play the entire season of the Indian Premier League? I think he will.
He will play. I think
And
Rohit
I think-
Sharma
I
and Bumrah
think-
both will play.
I think Bumrah shouldn't be directly eased into the Australia Test series. He should be made to sit with
No,
the
but
team
he
for
will
a
be
couple
eased
of
into the
tests.
IPL.
Yeah,
He
but
will- I think
how
he
can
will-
you how can you bring a premier fast bowler who's injury prone and play
No,
him in
I
the
don't.
first test against
I
Australia?
agree with that. I agree with that. But I'm saying that he could have been eased into the Sri Lanka or T20
Yes.
series. We'll have to wait and watch whether that happens. Now,
And
whether or
what
not
will-
he gets
what is the future of Jaydev Unadkat now? What will he?
And
No
why-
future.
yeah.
No future.
Why
That
was
was
he
a-
brought back?
That was a crazy
All
move.
of a sudden after 12 years, and then you drop a man
He
of the
did
match,
decently in that
a guy
test match.
who won you the
I
match.
doubt Unadkat
You
has-
drop him to bring in Unadkat
For so
on a
many
pitch,
years, you
on
were
a pitch
struggling
which
to-
was helping the spinners.
Exactly. And for so many years, you've struggled to find a good left-arm pacer for Test cricket. An experienced bowler, Jaydev Unadkat, plays his second Test after a gap over 11 or 12 years.
12 years.
I'm sorry, this just defies logic. And then you drove Kuldeep Yadav to bring in that extra pacer on a pitch where two spinners got you in a hot bowler soup on that.
This might seem harsh, but it looks like Rahul Dravid is not interested in this job. When he
So
was made
does-
the
was
Maybe
he
he
wo-
doesn't have the spunk. I'm
when
sorry.
he was made the coach.
A great
I
bat.
remember former BCCI president Saurav Ganguly telling that there were reports like how Ganguly and Jay Shah played their part and persuaded him.
He was
Oh,
not
persuading
doing
it. I thought that was a well-intentioned move.
Yeah, bilkul.
Even if Ganguly and Jay Shah persuaded
Yeah.
Dravid to come in and take as coach, if I were in that position, I would persuade someone like Rahul Dravid to come and coach the Indian team. So nobody can literally force you to.
Yeah,
Persuasion
of
is
course.
fine.
Yes, persuasion is a different thing.
Persuasion is
Forcing
fine.
is a
I would
different
pursue. I mean, I was very happy when Dravid was appointed as coach.
thing. I think we all were happy, but
yeah,
the
that is the point
results,
of it, na?
the results are absolutely shambolic.
But we talk of the IPL also because we talk of the craziness of this Indian team setup, across formats. Also talk about the madness of the IPL auction.
2023 gives us better answers to what.
No, we'll keep asking questions anyway. Again, you'll come and tell me I have an agenda, but you'll go back home heartbroken. But agenda? Talking of agenda, what was the agenda to see Sam Curran? How much did he get?
I think
18 crore?
18.5,
The most
18.5
expensive
crore.
player in an IPL auction.
Yeah.
Is it crazy?
It is
Absolutely.
absolutely crazy.
See, but the thing is.
And I personally believe that this price tag is going to be one of the most foremost reasons behind him failing in the IPL.
No, but anyway, he hasn't done much
Yes,
in the IPL.
yes.
He did well.
He's part of-
I agree with this fact. He has done very well in the T20 World Cup.
see, this
He was a
mini
very good
auction-
death over bowler, but
This mini
18.5
auction
yeah.
is never about. Sorry for cutting you off.
No, it's okay.
This mini auction is never about a player's talent. or
Exactly,
something like
exactly. I mean,
that. These teams, if you look at the teams that have spent big, Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, and Punjab Kings,
Yes.
they all flopped. They all made a mess in the mega auction. They couldn't get their balance right. They went for one or two players who they thought they would be available, but they didn't have them.
They still haven't got the balance
Yes.
right. Sam Curran still does not add any balance to that
Exactly.
Punjab
So
lineup.
just finding the missing pieces is what this mini auction is all about. And I don't think a player, for instance, if you ask me if Ben Stokes is a better player or Sam Curran is a better player, we all know the answer.
No,
But who got the better money?
that
Yeah.
depends on the way you're approaching the
And
game.
that depends on the way, and depends on the order in which they appear in the
Sam
auction
Curran,
also.
by the way, I mean, you look at his T20I numbers, very ordinary with the bat. In ODIs, this is one unbeaten 95 that he made against India early in 2021. Even that
But he's an
they
improved
lost.
T20 player. Huh?
He's an improved T20 cricketer. He's an improved T20 bowler.
Huh.
Not a
The
batter.
death bowler. And
But
that
I
too,
don't think the way England
by
used
the
him,
evidence
you
of the
can judge
T20,
by-
But
no, by
why-
the evidence of the T20 World Cup alone. by the way.
And for Punjab, why do you need a death over bowler when you have Kagiso Rabada,
Arshdeep Singh.
Arshdeep Singh? Why do you need?
You have a good, impressive
You
area.
actually needed
See, we
somebody.
can't-
You need.
like,
you actually
like
needed.
finding logic with Indian cricket these
No,
days.
but that is
similar to finding logic with
no,
Punjab's
but that
auction
is
buys.
that is but that logic also takes us to exactly what you said, the mini auction strategies.
Yeah.
I think again teams tend to get carried away by one type of cricketer, which is foreign all-rounders who can bowl,
Yes.
medium pace, and supposedly bat. Same with Cameron Green. I think Cameron Green has been much more impressive than Sam Curran because you also got to take into account what Cameron Green has done in
India.
Test cricket, in
And
India, in T20s, and then you're looking at what he can possibly do in the IPL. He took a 5-4 against South Africa. But
I
even
will
then,
not
those
agree.
figures.
I will not agree with
No,
you.
I get that figure.
I will not compare Sam Curran and Cameron Green because Curran is your bowling all-rounder and Cameron Green is your batting all-rounder. And
Cameron Green is an untested all-rounder to a large
yes,
No, that's what I was
and
coming
one more
to.
thing. And one more thing. My simple argument is, if you think he can replace Kyle Pollard,
Yeah.
I am sorry, he can't.
Yeah. But you never know. Mumbai might bowl.
But that is a
bold him
long
into
term. That is a long term development.
When
Anyway, the
Pollard
Mumbai
came, he
Indians-
was not a finished
Yeah,
product.
exactly. Mumbai Indians.
But Pollard had proved himself in T20 league.
My point is simple. Cameron.
Cameron
He
Green
was-
is largely untested.
Would you have pitched that much money for Cameron Green in a mega auction?
No.
Never.
That wouldn't happen. So that's the
never.
point. That's the whole point. Obviously, Cameron Green and Sam Curran
And
are
also
different.
look at the way Sam Curran came first in the auction.
Yeah.
Had Cameron Green or Ben Stokes come first
Yeah,
in
they-
that
they
auction, they would have got
Ben
18.5.
Stokes again with Ben Stokes. What are Chennai Super Kings really looking at? Not a like for like replacement for Dwayne Bravo for sure.
Never.
Ben Stokes is probably a
And by the way, has
smarter bowler than Dwayne Bravo.
and has CSK
But not
forgot
a better batter
has
at
this-
his prime.
No.
has the
No, he's
CSK
not.
management forgotten what happened when they last signed a star England all-rounder Andy Flintoff failed big time.
Did he just steal
No,
his phone?
this is
Yeah.
Saurabh was rooting for Cameron Green to Delhi Capitals.
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
and
The moment Cameron Green, Delhi Capitals couldn't buy, his favorite team couldn't buy Cameron Green,
Yeah.
he has been peddling agenda.
I will
He has
tell you,
been
no,
saying
no.
that
So what-
Ben
what I-
Stokes will
I will
fail,
tell- I will tell you
EA
what
will
happened.
fail,
No.
Woe will fail.
Listen, this one thing that the Delhi guys do well at the auction is to hike up prices.
that is what I love what they do. I love
That's
what
fine,
they do.
that's fine.
They played with your team.
Fair
They played
play,
with
fair
KKR.
play.
They played with SRH. They played
They
with
play
MI.
big time with Mumbai and CSK. They do keep doing anyway. But yeah, I mean, Ben Stokes again. You look at those numbers, you say Ben Stokes, fine, a terrific test captain now, part of the England World Cup winning team. Again, but with Ben Stokes, it's okay because, when he bats, and especially at Chepauk, you need a batter like him. He is able to grind, he's able to rotate the strike, he's a very fit, athletic cricketer.
For that, we have got another
Plays spin
main
well.
weapon.
Play spin well.
You got a Inka Rahane.
Huh? How many games he's going
Might
to
not be a bad buy at all.
No, absolutely. We're not saying it's
No,
going to be a
Rahane
bad move.
could be a proper cog in the wheel for the Super Kings because that's the kind of openers they like. Come, slam, bang, gone.
Is he going
You
to be
know.
next Badrinath for you?
Might be.
I think he might
If
be.
he
A
bats in the
17,
middle
a 17 ball 31 from him and Dhoni would be very happy. Dhoni and Fleming would be very happy.
25 ball, 30 will also be good for him.
And then you have Ruturaj Gaikwad to take things
Devon
forward.
Conway is
anyway.
also there, I think. So you've got a lot of players to cover up that.
And how many of those matches will MS Dhoni play? I mean, again, we'll build up to that also.
Actually, this is an interesting question because former CSK all-rounder and former New Zealand bowler all-rounder
Scott
Cyrus
Cyrus.
said that Ben Stokes might even take up captaincy in IPL 2023.
I would rather Ruturaj Gaikwad stepped into that role. Maybe one more season of MS Dhoni and Ruturaj Gaikwad is a close understudy of MS Dhoni. You'd want to see an India captain
But then
because
now Ben Stokes coming into that setup changes a lot of equation, right?
I doubt it. I mean, Dwayne Bravo, nobody looked at
Did
Dwayne
Ben
Bravo.
Stokes play under Sanju Samson at Rajasthan Royals?
He did?
He did.
Under Sanju Samson.
Yeah.
2021.
Or was it C. Smith was the captain back then?
2021.
I doubt.
2021 he was not there.
You have to check our numbers.
Hey,
But
Sanju Samson.
And
But
by the way, Ben Stokes played under MS Dhoni and
Yeah,
Fleming and
at
RPS.
Pune, that's the reunion. I mean, 27. By the way,
Rahane
Rane was also a part of that team.
2017.
Geo dance.
His first
My meme is also going viral.
His first season at the IPL for Ben Stokes, and that is still his best season at the IPL. I mean,
Yes.
after that, he didn't play all those games. He hasn't played a lot of
And
games.
even
He's
now, he's
hasn't
not a
even completed the
proven
season.
T20 player.
No, he's not.
Barring that T20 World Cup, Stokes hasn't done much in T20.
No, but
in the
there are
recent
two ways to
past.
look at it. Is he a proven T20 cricketer? But is he also a proven IPL batter? I think he's a proven IPL batter. I mean, when you have 200
Yes, he has.
in 3 or 4 seasons, I think you got to give it to him. Not a great bowling average. Again, with Sam Curran, a pretty expensive bowler in the IPL per se.
Yes.
Goes at an economy rate of over 9 runs and over. But again, you just looked at his England numbers, what he did for England.
T20, yes.
But that was Australia.
Yeah,
that was
you're
Australia.
going to play.
But even
In
in
India.
even in Indian conditions, Sam Curran might be an effective bowler with his cutters, with his variations.
But you have Ashdeep Singh for that thing, right?
Punjab, I don't want to decode Punjab.
Nobody can decode
Nobody can decode
Even Punjab cannot decode
we'll,
Punjab.
we'll have to dedicate an entire episode to that. But if our listeners and viewers want to reach out to us, you know where to email us on pods@indiatoday.com. And you can always ping us on 8588966996. It's never, I can never remember these numbers. Why not? I only know my number by heart.
Yeah, that is
Yeah, that is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But do you seriously, do you remember this number? I can't
I
expect
look
him
at our producer and to see how they go through the
Or does
chat.
she sit with charts and cards?
Maybe she can do that.
That'll be interesting.
But before, are we wrapping up this without talking about LSG's brilliant buy?
You want to sit on and on. Do it.
Why
What is this like a
Nicholas
New Year's
Purana?
special?
Nicholas Puran, what are we wrapping this
yes.
up without talking
Yes.
about Nicholas Puran? You
Third-
said Sam Curran is an overpriced player. You said Cameron Green is an overpriced player.
obsessing over all round.
Ben Stokes is an overpriced player.
No, so is
16
Nicholas
rupees,
Puran.
16
Nicholas
crore
Puran was
for
an
Nicholas
oversized
Puran.
player.
Overpriced.
Overpriced.
Player
Yeah.
earlier this in the mega auction also. But Nicholas Puran always manages to get away with that. There are a few cricketers who always manage to
And
get
by the
away
way,
with
he's
the
going
big
to be the
bucks.
third choice wicketkeeper
Yeah.
after Quinton de Kock and KL Rahul, and they have spent like 16 crore or 15
But why
crore.
is it? Is it because KL Rahul might have thrown a tantrum and said, "Look, I don't want to keep wickets." throughout the
Anyways,
season."
did he keep wickets last season? I think it was Quinton de Kock.
It was
who
Quinton
kept
de
wickets.
Kock, yeah.
Yeah.
So why do they
And
need?
also, just
Yeah.
I'm making this point because see, we were talking about how all rounders were making a lot of money, but I think Brian Lara made a very important point. I listened to Chris Srikanth's YouTube video yesterday, and he was making this point, saying that actually it was his son who was making this point, saying that Brian Lara made a very important point, that impact player rule that is going to come this month, where you can substitute one player at any point in the game, an Indian player, with which the importance of an all-rounder, the money you pay for an all-rounder
Yes.
might come down.
Yes.
So if you see SRH, they got Harry Brook, Mayank Agarwal. They didn't go for an
Even the
outright
Harry
all-rounder.
Brook- Even the Harry
Yeah,
Brook call
13
was a little
crore.
expensive.
Yeah.
But again, mini
They are
auction.
looking for specialists now.
Now you're looking
Yeah.
in mini auction. Sometimes it's very
For
difficult
instance,
to
if
dissect.
Harry Brook gives you a 30 ball 50 in the first innings, then you can replace him with a bowler in
No,
the
but
second.
with Harry Brook, I would also, a lot of people said, 8 crore or whatever that was way too expensive. But I think they've also looked at 2 other things for Harry Brook. Obviously, his recent run in Pakistan. And he's one of those rare breed of batters who can score big consistently at that kind of strike rate.
Ben
So
Stokes calls him the next Virat Kohli.
it's too early. Again, Babar
There
Azam.
have-
Maybe it's-
there have been many next Virat
Babar
Kohli.
Azam
Maybe
has
Ben
often been
Stokes' way
compared.
of motivating a young player.
Huh.
I mean, Babar Azam is still
That
being
is a-
motivated
that is
on those lines,
easy,
but
yeah.
I don't think he's a patch on Virat Kohli yet. But never know. Yes, he's an exciting prospect. He's an exciting talent. He
Yes.
brings that X factor, that English T20 charisma into his game. But that is again a long call. That is something we'll have to wait and watch. Maybe he'll do something in his first season. Maybe he
Yeah,
won't.
we will have to
but-
wait and watch. Let IPL come first.
Exactly. And once the IPL season commences, there'll be so much to talk about. This guy is an obsessed CSK fan. This guy is an obsessed DC fan.
Yeah.
For me,
RCB fan. Let's talk
I'm a
about
neutral.
RCB.
I'm a neutral. We'll talk about
Virat
RCB.
Kohli 18.
Let's not give it away.
Okay,
Let's not give it away.
Are we going to wrap up, Raj? I'm asking you again.
You don't want it to be.
Yeah, go on. The stage is all yours. Yeah.
Before we finish, let's give away one of our best sporting moment. What is your best sporting moment of 2022? 2022. 2023.
Obviously, Messi winning the World Cup. That is going to be not just this year. It's going to be one of the best sporting moments of my.
Okay, and as an Indian fan.
As an Indian fan, India's win over Pakistan.
Okay.
The Ramsey ji win.
Yeah.
That Virat Kohli knock. It's going to be.
I asked him that on purpose because for me that ranks as well. And a special moment was Ishan Kishan's double 100 because that guy he's a talented cricketer, and because he made it count. Globally, since he's already mentioned
This is a
Argentina,
very, very good pick.
since he's already mentioned Argentina,
Global,
I would say Saudi Arabia beating Argentina.
Mm.
You know, that sort of
Yeah, that
really
yes.
set the ripples in the World Cup, and that made it more interesting,
Yes,
frankly.
and that is why
Argentina.
that is how Argentina went on to win the World Cup.
Since you guys didn't lead me up to that answer.
No, you have to answer it.
Yeah. So, my not favorite moment, it's a very emotional moment, is seeing Roger Federer say goodbye to tennis
So were you
at
happy
the
with
Labour
that?
Cup. No, I was not happy.
One of the most memorable sporting moments for you. You went emotional after that, right?
Yeah. And my most favorite Indian moment was India's Thomas Cup.
Okay.
Badminton fan here
Interesting.
comes.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a nice way to
And
wrap
also
up.
that
Yeah.
MCG Virat.
Okay, Akshay. I know you are in
Yeah.
full steam ahead, a proper sailor, but I'm afraid we have to say goodbye. Can I?
Yeah, sure.
We'll roll in the new year with a lot more memories and with a lot more action. It's an action-packed 2023 for sure, which we're headed to.
Plenty to look forward to.
Bilateral series, the IPL, the
Plenty
ODI
of
World
sports
Cup.
events and plenty of controversies coming out.
Plenty. Hey, look at him.
We all
Hunting
have
for controversies. But we'll wrap up on that note and do rate us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're consuming the Sledging Room on. Thank you so much for your support throughout the year. And look forward to a lot more hostilities, support, love, affection.
And
Agenda-less
right
discussion.
Too cheesy.
Right questions.
All right then. See you next week.
See you.
You are on India Today Podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room.